letting go of what no longer serves you. Hey, welcome back. It's Renee, and welcome back to the uncomfortable truth. How do you release the things that aren't good for you anymore? Your energy and your inner wisdom are always working to let you know when it's time to release something. Don't spend a whole year stuck in that cycle of negativity. Your body already knows, your spirit already knows. Okay? So, everyone, let's get into this. Here's what's on my mind today because the seasons are about to start shifting where I live. The trees around us will start turning their colors and dropping their leaves on the ground. And that gets me thinking about something that we don't talk about enough when it comes to growth and building a better life. What do you need to release, let fade, and let fall away in order to change? That's what we're digging into today, releasing what's holding you back so new things have room to grow. Now, I've got a lot to explore here about letting go. So, how do you release something? How do you release what's no longer good for you? And how can you tell the difference between something you should release versus something worth fighting harder for? Are there tools that can help you figure that out or ways to invite that clarity in? In other words, how do you know when it's time to let go? Everybody get ready because this is one of the most powerful pieces of building a better, happier life. We spend so much energy thinking about what we need to do, what we need to add, and what we need to change. But have you considered that one of the most powerful moves that you can make is releasing things, projects, thought patterns, relationships that no longer support you? The big question is, how do you know? I want to share a visual metaphor that really captures this, along with a practical way to approach it. Your energy and your intuition are constantly signaling when something has stopped serving you. Let's start with the metaphor. I know it might not be autumn where you are right now. Now, don't get stuck on that detail. Wherever and whenever you're hearing this, even years from now, I believe you're meant to hear it right now because there's a new chapter waiting to begin in your life, and getting there means releasing what no longer fits. So let's talk about what happens to a tree in the fall. I did some digging into this because it's one thing to toss out a metaphor and another to really understand it. Turns out it's fascinating. We probably learned about chlorophyll and the tree life cycle back in school. But here's a refresher. A tree grows leaves because it needs energy to survive and grow. The leaves have a job. They capture sunlight and turn it into energy for the tree. In return, the tree sends water back to the leaves. Whole process, leaves sprouting, spreading out, converting sunlight into fuel that helps a tiny acorn become a mighty oak, takes an enormous amount of energy. It's a two-way relationship, a genuine exchange, because the tree has to pull in huge amounts of water to keep that exchange going. Now, here's why leaves fall in the first place. Once winter sets in and the ground freezes, there's no water available for the tree. If those big water-hungry leaves stayed on the branches through winter, they'd drain the tree completely. They'd kill it. We tend to picture the leaves changing color and drifting gently to the ground as something soft and beautiful. And it is beautiful, but here's the twist. It is also the tree's way of protecting itself. The tree is essentially saying, if you stay on my branches through winter, you're going to drain everything I have. I won't survive if you don't let go. The tree actively pushes those leaves off. Why? Because there's no exchange happening anymore. No reciprocity. The tree has to conserve its energy in order to make it through. And once those leaves are gone, the tree gets to hold onto what it needs instead of pouring it all into something that gives nothing back. I'd guess you have areas in your life where you're pouring everything into a relationship, a job, or an old thought pattern that doesn't feel good and getting nothing back. That's exactly what fall represents for a tree. And then, thank you, spring and summer. That relationship worked. We both gave and received. And then, almost overnight, it becomes one sided. And holding on to that would mean the tree's own survival is at risk. I'm sharing this image because this isn't just a pretty scene with pumpkin spice lattes attached. This is about survival. This is about energy. In order to grow, to become the strongest, healthiest version of yourself, you need relationships, work, projects, friendships, and habits built on genuine, reciprocal exchange. You give and you receive something back. That's where we're headed with this idea of letting go. We're going to explore how to recognize the moment when the exchange has stopped, when something has become entirely one sided, a drain rather than a source of energy. Whether it's a friendship, a romantic relationship, a job, a habit, or a place you live. Once you notice it's become a drain, that's your signal. Just like the tree, it's time to release it or to release your grip on it because if you keep holding on, you already know what happens. You've lived it. Holding on too long drains you completely. It wears down your vitality, your motivation, your sense of self, instead of that thing gently falling away so that you can regain your strength and step into something new. You kept pouring yourself into it. You held on too long. That's not going to happen anymore. So let's dig into what I mean by reciprocal energy exchange and where in your life this one sided pattern tends to show up and where you're the one left running on empty. You deserve relationships and experiences built on real exchange. What you give and what you receive are in balance. I want to circle back to something I mentioned. The leaves served a purpose. While they were green, they brought energy to the tree, and the tree gave energy in return through water. The leaves start to change because the tree begins pulling back. The tree starts the process of releasing. The leaf's purpose has run its course. This matters because so many of us struggle to release friendships, habits, or jobs. But here's what I want you to focus on. It's a wonderful thing when something serves a purpose in your life. And it's just as natural for something to serve that purpose for a season and then no longer fit where you are now or where you're headed. Think about how, when you start a new job, move to a new home, or a new city, that your routines shift and so do your friendships. It doesn't mean those old friendships stop mattering. It means the people you spent time with during that chapter served a real, meaningful role during that time. There was balance. You gave, you received, and that's why you looked forward to eating lunch with them every day. You enjoyed them, and they enjoyed you. But now that your life looks different, pouring the same energy into that relationship without getting the same back doesn't serve the same purpose anymore. That's why releasing a friendship also means releasing the guilt that can come with it. The voice that says something's wrong with you or asks if you're a bad friend. You have friends. Your life's rhythms have simply shifted and your energy is flowing where it's needed now. This is the natural rhythm of life and relationships. When you honor what you're ready to release, a job you've outgrown, a home that no longer fits, a friendship that's faded, or a habit you've moved past, you're actually honoring the value it once gave you. You're acknowledging what you invested in it. And you're recognizing that not everything is meant to stay in your life forever. That recognition is what makes letting go possible. You begin to release something once you realize that holding on is holding you back, especially when you're carrying guilt and self judgment about it. That guilt gets in the way of building something new and making room for what's next. This is exactly why learning to let go matters so much. When you keep investing energy into things that no longer give anything back, it chips away at your happiness, your vitality, and your motivation. It leaves you feeling depleted, like you're last on your own list. That's reason one. Reason two, as long as you're holding on to the old, you have no space, time, or energy left to build something new. Period. You already know this. So let's talk about how to use this idea of energy exchange along with your intuition to notice what's draining you and to release it, to thank it for what it gave you and let it go so that you can make space for something new, energizing, and good. Sounds worth it, right? So let's do it. One reason I want you to tune into your energy is because it doesn't lie. Take a moment right now, whether you're walking the dog, driving, working from home, or juggling a busy day. Pause and check in with your energy level. Picture a fuel gauge, empty to full. Empty means you feel depleted, burnt out, checked out, like your whole life is pouring energy outward with nothing coming back. Full means you feel energized and alive, like what you're investing in, whether that's your habits, your routines, the people around you, or your projects. It might be challenging, but it's also giving something back. Your energy is honest. We're energetic beings. I know that might sound like a little out there, and we can dig into the neuroscience another time. But here's proof. Have you ever walked into a coffee shop and the person behind the counter is having the worst day? No matter how big your smile is or how kind you are, their mood affects you. That's real. Energy is contagious. Your positive energy can shift someone else's day too. Most importantly, I want to teach you to notice this energy and to trust it because it's tied directly to your intuition. That's the tool we're building today. Learning to notice whether something is giving you positive energy or draining you, and whether it's a two-way relationship or a one-way street. Now picture the flip side. You walk into the same coffee shop the next morning having a rough day. Maybe a pet is sick and you're feeling low, and the person behind the counter is warm, upbeat, and looks you in the eye, smiles, maybe even asks how you're doing. You admit that you're not doing great, and they say, "I'm sorry to hear that. Coffee's on me today." Suddenly, you feel a little lighter. That's because they poured energy into you, and it lifted you. Energy is contagious, and it always tells the truth. Think of it like a compass. A compass runs on magnetic energy, which is why it always points true north. It never lies. Neither does your own energy. That's why you feel off around certain people, and that's why a text from someone you're not fond of makes you sigh, while one from someone you love makes you smile. Energy doesn't lie. So let's talk about how to actually use it. And I'm going to break letting go into two categories. And for each, I'll show you how to read your own energy, what you're giving, what you're feeling, and what you're getting back to know when it's time to release something. So category one is the easy one. This covers things like projects, jobs, or people whose behavior is clearly harmful. Situations where you feel a wave of negativity. Some people, we've all got a pair of pants that from years ago that no longer fit. Every time you look at them, you feel discouraged. And every time you try to squeeze into them, you feel worse about yourself. That's a clear sign to let them go. Or that job where your stomach sinks the moment you walk in, where you spend all your energy venting about how much you dislike it. That's a sign to start exploring other options. Or that friend who thrives on gossip, rolls their eyes, and brings you down. That's a relationship worth stepping back from. What does letting go look like in practice? That's up to you. Donate the pants. Start redirecting the energy you'd normally spend complaining about your job into actively searching for a new one. Think about how much time and energy gets used up on resistance and complaints. Imagine if, for just one day, you stopped complaining about something that drains you, your job, a family member, a partner, a roommate. What if you took the same energy and redirected it towards fixing the situation or releasing it, the building something new that actually feels good? I relate to this. I spent a lot of years pouring negative energy into things I didn't enjoy instead of recognizing it was time to complete that chapter. That roommate situation served its purpose 2 years ago. It's not the right fit anymore, and that's completely okay. Time to let those leaves fall, to release the grip instead of pouring everything into staying frustrated and disappointed when something is clearly draining you or you catch yourself complaining and resisting. That's your cue to let it go. There are two paths here. One, donate it, remove it, delete it. Or two, take that resistance and channel it into something constructive. If you can't quit your job right away because of bills, that's understandable. Instead of complaining, spend 30 minutes each morning searching for something new, or spend that time investing in a hobby, project, or side venture that energizes you. When you do that, you start lifting yourself up because you're creating a genuine exchange by putting energy into something new and positive. That shift will even change how you experience the job you're currently in. Now, I know this because I've lived it. I worked at a hospital for 11 years. At first, it felt meaningful and I genuinely enjoyed it. Later, it became just a paycheck. I needed it, so it served its purpose, but I wasn't getting anything meaningful back, and deep down, I knew. I knew it wasn't the life I wanted. I'll admit, I made the mistake so many of us make. Instead of channeling that restlessness into finding something new, I stayed and felt stuck and depleted. I didn't even follow my own advice at the time. What changed things? I got pregnant, had my second son, went on maternity leave, and this was also during COVID during that time, and with some distance, I realized clearly there's no way that I wanted to go back. Maybe you've had a relationship like that too. You're in it so long, and once you finally step away, you look back and wonder what you were thinking. You don't want to return to that draining pattern. But while you're in it, that cycle of negativity can keep you spinning in place. You convince yourself you need it and that you can't do anything else. And the constant complaining and constant drain energy outflow keeps you stuck. That was me. So here's something worth noting. Give a person a problem to solve, and we tend to get creative. What I'm really saying is don't make the same mistake I made at 30. Don't let yourself spin in that cycle for years. Your body knows, your spirit knows. Let go of the pants that don't fit. Set aside the project that no longer inspires you. Release it because holding on is draining your vitality. And remember, this is all about reciprocal energy. The pants, the toxic friendship, the draining job, none of them are giving anything back. Nothing. In fact, what you're getting in return is more negativity. Those genes make you feel bad about yourself. The job you keep venting about, telling yourself you can't leave, it's pulling more negative energy into your life. These situations are easy to spot because there's no real value flowing back to you, period. Now, let's talk about the harder situations, the ones that aren't so clear cut, where guilt creeps in. Maybe you're caring for an aging parent or supporting a child with some kind of disability or mental health challenges, and it's genuinely exhausting. Or maybe you're navigating friendships or relationships where old patterns are quietly interfering with the natural give and take that brings good things into your life. The idea of letting go through energy isn't complicated on its own, but life often is. Let's recap what we've covered so far because I want to make sure everything lands. First, to build a happier life and become the person you're capable of being, you need to learn to release what no longer supports you. Second, letting go is a natural, healthy part of life's rhythm, whether that means releasing friendships, a job, a place you live, habits, or a social circle. Letting go creates space for growth, new chapters, and new adventures. It's through that growth that you step into your full potential and unlock what's possible for your life. Letting go isn't a failure, it's a genuine strength. Plenty of people believe that quitting makes them a quitter in a bad sense. Not true. Strong, successful people let go of things all the time. In fact, holding on to what no longer fits is often the real setback. Knowing where to direct your energy and knowing when something has run its course is a mark of strength. When you say no to something, you're actually saying yes to something else. When you reframe letting go, not as an ending or a loss, but as an opening, everything shifts. Letting go is a beginning. It's full of possibility, and it's about what's ahead. Embrace it. Third, you carry a natural wisdom inside you. That might sound abstract, but it's grounded in real science, and we'll keep coming back to it. You have instincts, an inner compass, a gut sense that's constantly communicating with you. One of the fastest ways to tap into that wisdom is by checking in with your energy. You already know this feeling. You know when something feels off. You know when you're depleted. You know when you feel an easy connection with someone. That's real information. Information that can guide the small shifts that improve your life. Fourth, the best things in life involve genuine exchange. Even volunteering works this way. When you give your time, energy, and resources to something meaningful, you receive something back too, a sense of purpose, a feeling of connection to something bigger than your daily routine. That's reciprocity. It's what makes it meaningful. The strongest friendships works the same way. You give, they give back. Same with romantic relationships. Think about a time you chased someone relentlessly. Maybe there were good moments, but mostly what came back was uncertainty, insecurity, and distraction. That's not a balanced relationship. That's an unhealthy attachment. There are things in life that take real effort, like exercise, even getting out of bed some days. But once you push past that resistance, which we talked about in an earlier conversation on motivation, and you actually do the thing, something shifts. You get a return of positive energy. You feel proud. It's hard, but it's worth it because there's a real payoff. Better sleep, clarity, a sense of alignment with your values. That word, values, matters a lot here because your values are often what generate that sense of return during the hardest situations. Take two examples: caring for an aging parent or supporting a partner or child through mental health struggles or some kind of disability. Both are genuinely difficult. You're pouring energy into caring for someone, and it can be incredibly draining, especially when the person you're caring for isn't able to give much back right now. It might be physically exhausting too, layered on top of work and everyday responsibilities, leaving you tired. So, how do you create energy in situations like these? The answer is your values. Tap into them. That's what generates a sense of return and helps you rise above the daily stress, which is temporary. Because when you connect with your values, you recognize what an incredible person you are for showing up for your parents or your child or your partner. You recognize the compassion it takes to support your child or partner through something hard. When you start to feel worn down, pause, lift your gaze, and look towards the future with pride. Pride in acting in alignment with who you know yourself to be, even when it's hard. That's how you generate positive energy in situations where the other person can't give back or where the circumstances themselves are demanding. You have the capacity to do hard things: exercising, staying sober, changing habits, making difficult calls. You can do the things that feel challenging, and I promise you'll feel proud, which is exactly why there's a return on that effort. Draining tasks can circle back to you as energy because they make you feel good about who you are. I bet you can name 4 or 5 things you're doing right now that are genuinely hard, and you probably haven't even given yourself enough credit for them. You should be proud. Showing up consistently is something worth celebrating and feeling energized about. And during the toughest stretches, remind yourself this too shall pass. What rises also comes back down, like the trail on a mountain by height. This is one season of your life, and holding on to what doesn't serve you will wear you down. But finding ways to bring energy back in ways aligned with your values and what you want, that's a powerful move. To close, here are 2 practices to start today because these are the 2 biggest energy drains. Practice 1: notice you're complaining. Complaining, even just to yourself, drains your energy every time. Think about running late. You can feel that wave of stress building, the sense of depletion creeping in, and the negative thoughts starting. That's the moment you're draining your own energy, telling yourself that you should have gotten up earlier, should have done things differently. Try releasing the complaints about the job you don't love, the traffic, your partner, how you feel about your body, anything. Because here's the truth: with a bit of effort and a shift in attitude, you have the power to change almost anything. You can take action. So instead of venting about the job, spend tomorrow morning taking a step towards a new one. Instead of saying you don't have friends, spend some time putting yourself in situations where you'll meet new people. This matters because every time you're complaining, you're the source of your own energy drain. Pouring negative energy at something instead of redirecting that same effort towards something constructive. That's rule 1. Try going 24 hours without complaining about anything. It's genuinely a challenge. Practice 2: release the need to control others. Notice when you're trying to control a friend or a loved one and gently let go of the urge to change them. Redirect that energy into listening, supporting, and allowing them to show up as themselves. That's what creates real connection. Trying to control someone actually blocks connection. It interrupts the natural exchange between people. And here's one more thought on relationships and letting go. Sometimes the role certain people play in your life is simply to teach you how to release. Now, here's something worth sitting with: putting in effort, leaning into challenge, doing things that are hard, even things that leave you out of breath and unsure if you keep going. That's a good sign because when you push through something difficult and positive, you get something back: pride. joy, growth, a broader perspective. And here's the beautiful part. Once you reach the goal, your mind tends to soften the memory of how hard the climb was. It just goes to show that with steady effort and an optimistic outlook, step by step, you can create real change, especially when you make space for new things to enter your life. If someone in your life is holding tightly onto something that no longer serves them, consider sharing this with them. Every time you share these ideas or bring these tools into your own life, you help create a ripple effect that reaches people who matter most. Now, I believe in you. Thank you for being here. And if this resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. I create this content for you, so make sure you stay connected.